Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Smackdown and AEW Rampage review. Smackdown tonight was from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, while Rampage was taped from the MVP Arena in Buffalo in upstate New York. And Smackdown tonight, I thought the show was very mediocre, in my opinion. It was a very mediocre show tonight. But tonight on the show, we saw Ricochet versus Sami Zayn. Bayley ended up taking on Raquel Rodriguez, Smiley Raquel, even though in the segment with Damage Control, when Raquel ended up coming out, she wasn't smiling. She came out to confront Bayley. And we had the NXT North American Championship on the line, where Solsicoa defended the title against Madcap Moss, which Solsicoa won the North American Championship on Tuesday on NXT, where he defeated Carmelo Hayes. And that was the 1 year anniversary of NXT 2.0, which I'm like, why do they celebrate 1 year of NXT 2.0? NXT 2.0 have been awful for a year. And at the end of the show, it unveiled, NXT getting the new logo. It was like white and gold. So that 1 year anniversary of NXT 2.0 that we saw on Tuesday was pretty much the funeral of NXT 2.0, because NXT 2.0 was under Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. And now that Vince McMahon is retired, Triple H has now full control of the company and is in creative. So you tell that was a Triple H move, and rebranding NXT again. And now Solsicoa is the North American champion. He will take that title to SmackDown and also to NXT, so he could defend the title, what we saw tonight on SmackDown and also NXT. So I guess Solsicoa is going to be working, two brands, SmackDown and NXT. So good on Solsicoa winning the North American Championship on that we saw on Tuesday night. And then we had a number one contenders fatal four-way match to determine who will face the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship next week on SmackDown. So it was the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium versus New Day versus Hit Row. So that was what we got on SmackDown tonight. Oh, and I can't forget, we had fucking Logan Paul on the show tonight, to which he ended up calling out the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, and he wants a shot at the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And Crown Jewel is coming up. And so that will be the match at Crown Jewel. It's going to be Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns, undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line. Why? Why are we getting this? Logan Paul needs to stay off of WWE television, and they need to release him. He's a waste. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. SmackDown opened up tonight, and already I wanted to change the channel from the get-go, because SmackDown started off with Logan Paul. Logan Paul ended up coming out. He got boos from the crowd. Good. Nobody wants to see Logan Paul on WWE television. Logan Paul came out. He got on the mic. And he ended up saying that he has a habit of opening his mouth, and that he has said some stupid stuff. He ended up saying that this week he had the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, on his podcast. So Logan Paul issued a challenge to the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and that he has taken the liberty of setting up a press conference tomorrow in Las Vegas. So Logan Paul ended up saying that if Roman is man enough, he will show up and meet him face to face. So then out came Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman came out and he made his return to SmackDown after being taken out by Brock Lesnar. So he came out along with the Usos, Solsicoa, and the honorary Us, Sami Zayn. So they all stood at ringside. Paul Heyman then got into the ring, and he ended up saying, "There he is, Logan Paul," to which the crowd booed. Good, thank God. It's great of the crowd booing Logan Paul. He does not deserve to be on TV. So Paul Heyman ended up saying that if there was ever anyone from outside of WWE that can be a Paul Heyman guy, it's Logan Paul. Are you serious? Can you all imagine Logan Paul being a Paul Heyman guy? Oh my God. That would be fucking awful. So Paul Heyman ended up saying to Logan Paul that this man, this athlete, he called Logan Paul an athlete. And that he stepped up and fought Floyd Mayweather. And he never went down. And that he held his own. And he went the distance like Rocky. So Logan Paul ended up saying that he would fight no one. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Logan Paul that they are in Anaheim, but not to act like Mickey Mouse. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Logan Paul that he should not open his mouth about the tribal chief. And he doesn't care about Logan Paul's ambitions, his athletic background, and he doesn't care that him and his brother changed the fighting game. And that all he cares is that he makes the smart decision, which is to pick a fight with someone else. So Logan Paul ended up saying that Paul Heyman is a promoter, and he gets it. Logan Paul ended up saying that he knows how great this could be. So he ended up saying that it's just a press conference. What are you afraid of? So Paul Heyman ended up saying that if his brother had balls, he would be his sister. He ended up saying that he doesn't like the ifs and his scenarios, and he doesn't like him. So Logan Paul ended up saying that Paul Heyman is funnier than he looks. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Logan Paul, now I have to handle you. So Paul Heyman ended up calling Solo. And so Sikoa got up on the ring apron. So we had Logan Paul end up saying that he could quickly knock Paul Heyman out. So Sikoa looked to come into the ring, but Sami Zayn ended up coming in the ring. He ended up stopping Solsicoa from attacking Logan Paul. So Sami Zayn was like to Solsicoa, I got this. And then Sami Zayn ended up telling Paul Heyman that he might not be the right man for the job. Paul Heyman ended up throwing his mic. He got out of the ring. Sami Zayn was looking to tell Logan Paul how things work in WWE. And Logan Paul ended up knocking out Sami Zayn. So the Usos end up charging at Logan Paul. Logan Paul got out of the ring like a scaredy cat. So Logan Paul got out of the ring there. Ricochet ended up heading out. And pretty much that was basically that. What a terrible opening segment this was. And Logan Paul wants a shot at Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. You already know that it's going to be coming. It's going to be at Crown Jewel. It's going to be in Saudi. And probably the Saudi prince wants Logan Paul there. Because it will draw money for them. But that match happens. I don't even care. I will never care. Why we need to see Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. And what the fuck has Logan Paul done to earn an opportunity to get a shot at the undisputed WWE Universal Championship? What did he accomplish? Absolutely nothing. It sounded like Vince McMahon booked this whole thing. Awful. This was absolutely awful. I don't give a shit about this match between Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. You already know it's going to be booked for a crown jewel. Don't give a shit. And I don't know why you can't have other guys lined up for Roman for this. You could have Kevin Owens, you could have Seth Rollins, Styles, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, but yet they want to go with Logan Paul. All I know how that match is going to be is Roman is going to squash the hell out of Logan Paul. That's an easy win for the Tribal Chief. Awful. Absolutely awful. You mean to tell me you can't get guys like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, Braun Strowman? You can't put those guys and line them up for Roman? Yeah, we gotta suffer with Logan Paul. This just feels like Vince McMahon is booking all this instead of Triple H. And then we had the first match of the night, which was Ricochet versus Sami Zayn. And this was a good match here. We had the match start up with Ricochet and Sami Zayn locking up. Sami Zayn delivered a shoulder tackle. He locked in a arm submission on Ricochet, but Ricochet ended up escaping. Sami Zayn delivered a knee to Ricochet, and he delivered another shoulder tackle to Ricochet. Ricochet got back up. He fought back with a head scissors to Sami Zayn, and Ricochet followed up with a chop. So Ricochet was looking to go for a kick. Sami Zayn ended up rolling out of the ring, to which Ricochet delivered a baseball kick through the bottom rope. He then tossed Sami Zayn back into the ring. Sami Zayn came back. He delivered some forearms to Ricochet. He sent Ricochet face first into the top turnbuckle, and he delivered an elbow off the middle rope to Ricochet. Ricochet fought back and delivered Hurricanrana to Sami Zayn. So Ricochet was up on the top rope. Sami Zayn pushed him off, and Ricochet landed on the outside, and he went into the barricade. So as SmackDown came back from the commercial, we had both Ricochet and Sami Zayn. They were teetering on the top rope. Sami Zayn pushed Ricochet down, and we had Ricochet delivering some kicks to Sami Zayn's midsection, which he followed up with a Hurricanrana. Ricochet then delivered a diving crossbody, and he ended up going for the cover. Sami Zayn kicked out. So Sami Zayn ended up hitting a back elbow. Ricochet was looking to fire back with a moonsault, but Sami Zayn ended up getting his knees up. He ended up going for the pin, and Ricochet ended up kicking out. So we had Jimmy Uso. He ended up causing a distraction to Ricochet because Ricochet delivered a super kick to Sami Zayn, and he went up to the top rope. Jimmy ended up causing a distraction to Ricochet, which allowed Sami Zayn to hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. Sami Zayn ended up going for the cover, and Logan Paul had the ref distracted, and it was Jessica Carr who was the referee. So Logan Paul had her distracted, and we had Ricochet end up kicking out. Ricochet ended up getting Sami Zayn on his shoulders. Jay then caused a distraction, and Sami Zayn used that distraction to roll Ricochet up, and Ricochet kicked out. So at the end of the match, we had Ricochet end up delivering a shooting star press off of the top rope to Sami Zayn, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go, Ricochet ended up winning the match. Post-match, we had the Bloodline end up getting on the ring apron, and out came Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss ended up having a chair in hand, and pretty much that was basically that. The Bloodline ended up retreating, so that was that. But overall, it was a good match between Ricochet and Sami Zayn. Ricochet getting more wins for himself. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, we saw Karrion Kross backstage with Scarlett. Kross ended up saying that it's time to choose judgment. He ended up saying that the chosen one, Drew McIntyre, was executed by the newly appointed People's Executioner. Kross ended up saying that while McIntyre fought back, he let it go. So Kross ended up saying that he lets nothing go, and that he changes timelines. Kross ended up saying that McIntyre will be in an endless loop of suffering that he controls, and he will never get out. But this was a good promo from Karrion Kross here. Really liking what they're doing with this Kross and McIntyre feud. I like the end of SmackDown last week where you had Kross locking the Kross jacket on McIntyre, and the picture went black and white, and it faded to black as SmackDown went off the air. I thought that was very good. Liked how the way that was done. But like I said, really liking this where they're taking this with Kross and McIntyre. And then we had Max and Maxine Dupree. They were in the ring to introduce the Maximum Male Models Back to School collection. Why is this shit still on TV? Why? So Max Dupree was on the mic. He ended up saying that him and Maxine are there to introduce the Maximum Male Models Back to School collection. So we had Marseille and Mansoir end up coming out, and they showed off the Back to School collection of them, modeling. And then Braun Strowman's music ended up hitting. Braun Strowman came out and he ended up taking down Marseille and Mansoir. He ended up powering through both of them. So Strowman ended up throwing Marseille into the barricade, and he ended up throwing Mansoir into the ring. And Strowman delivered a powerbomb to Mansoir. And then out came Chad Gable. So Chad Gable was coming down to the ring. Otis came in out of nowhere, delivering a right hand to Strowman. But Strowman ended up delivering a clothesline to Otis. Chad Gable ended up coming in, and Strowman ended up delivering a right hand to Gable. Strowman ended up lifting Gable, and Otis ended up delivering some right hands to Braun Strowman. So Otis delivered a splash into the corner, and Otis delivered a World's Strongest Slam onto Strowman, but Strowman ended up getting back up to his feet, and Otis and Chad Gable ended up leaving the ring. Otis turned around as Strowman was telling Otis to get into the ring, but Chad Gable was holding Otis back. So pretty much that was basically that, but this whole segment was absolutely fucking awful. Absolutely terrible. Why are the Maximum Male Models still on TV? They need to be off. It's a waste of time. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, we had Damage Control. We had Bayley and Dakota Kai and Io Sky end up coming out. So we had Bayley end up getting on the mic, and she ended up saying that she's back on SmackDown. And Dakota Kai ended up saying that her and Io Sky can go to any brand at any time and do what they want, because her and Io Sky are the women's tag team champions. So Io Sky ended up saying that SmackDown is their show now. So Bayley ended up saying that they destroyed Raquel and they put Aaliyah on the shelf because this is what greatness looks like. She ended up saying this is what it looks like when you do what you said you were going to do. Because what Damage Control has is what the fans will never get, and that is the power. So pretty much Bayley was saying they put in the work, her and Dakota Kai and Io Sky put in the work, and it paid off. So then we had Smiley Raquel Rodriguez, end up coming out. She wasn't smiling here. So she got on the mic. She ended up saying that she doesn't see greatness. She sees three bullies that her partner and are powerless in stopping her from getting revenge. So Raquel got into the ring as Damage Control ended up retreating outside the ring, and pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez. This was just a very meh match here. Match started off with Bayley and Raquel end up locking up. Raquel ended up sending Bayley into the corner. Bayley ended up rolling out of the ring, and Raquel started chasing Bayley. She ended up throwing Io Sky onto Dakota Kai on the outside. Bayley ended up getting into the ring, and Raquel delivered a right hand to Bayley. So Raquel then delivered a spinning slam to Bayley. She ended up going for the cover, and Bayley ended up kicking out. Bayley then delivered a cutter off the ropes and tossed Raquel out of the ring. Raquel ended up getting back into the ring, and Bayley started firing off some forearms shots to Raquel. Bayley ended up sending Raquel into the corner and delivered a shoulder to Raquel's midsection. Raquel then knocked Bayley down to the mat, and Dakota Kai and Io Sky ended up causing a distraction, to which Bayley then took advantage of the match, ended up sending Raquel's knee off the ring post, to which Bayley then started to target Raquel's knee. Raquel ended up fighting back. Bayley ended up hitting a sliding lariat to the back of Raquel's neck. She ended up going for the cover, and Raquel ended up kicking out. And then Raquel ended up sending Bayley into the corner, ended up hitting a clothesline. Raquel ended up delivering a headbutt to Bayley, followed by a lariat. Raquel then delivered 2 fallaway slams to Bayley. She ended up hitting the flying elbow off the top. Io Sky then ended up raking Raquel's eyes, which allowed Bayley to hit the rose plant to Raquel. Bayley ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Bayley ended up winning the match. Post-match, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky end up attacking Raquel, and Shotzi end up running down to save Raquel, and we had Damage Control end up getting out of the ring, retreating out of there, and pretty much that was basically that. But Shotzi here, looked like they turned her baby face, and I guess they're going to make Shotzi and Raquel a tag team. And from what I heard, from what I read, Triple H seemingly wants to bring back Shotzi's tank, which that would be awesome. You know, the tank that Shotzi ended up driving out there when she was in NXT, you know, that fitted her gimmick. And since she was on the main roster and Vince ended up making her heel, and he took away her tank, you know, she has not fully recovered ever since. But overall, this was a very meh match between Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez. And then we had Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Ronda Rousey, and Kayla ended up saying that at Extreme Rules, Ronda will face Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda ended up telling Kayla Braxton that there won't be any controversy this time. And then Liv Morgan ended up coming in. Kayla Braxton then left, and Liv Morgan ended up taking a seat. Liv Morgan ended up saying that Ronda doesn't respect her, and that she is the only person on the planet to beat her twice. She wanted to say that she will earn her respect by beating Ronda once more at Extreme Rules. So Liv Morgan ended up challenging Ronda to an Extreme Rules match. So Ronda ended up accepting, and she ended up telling Liv Morgan that it will be her funeral. So pretty much that was basically that. So it'll be an Extreme Rules match, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. So there you go. And then it cut to Michael Cole and Corey Graves at the commentary table. Drew McIntyre stood on top of the commentary table, and he was calling out Karrion Kross. He ended up saying that Karrion Kross has his attention, and that Kross isn't man enough to face him. McIntyre ended up telling Cross to grow a set and step up to him. McIntyre ended up saying that time is running out for Cross, and that the only countdown Cross needs to worry about is 3, 2, 1. So there you go. Drew McIntyre calling out Karrion Kross there. And then we saw the Usos. They were backstage with Solsicoa, and they ended up telling him that they have his back, that they have Solo's back. Sikoa ended up telling the Usos that he got this. So ended up asking Sami Zayn if he is coming. So Sami Zayn ended up telling Jay that he has to go. So Sami Zayn was accompanying Solsicoa out there. And then we had Solsicoa versus Madcap Moss for the NXT North American Championship. This was a pretty good match here. Solsicoa ended up going for a right hand to Moss. Moss ended up moving out of the way. And Moss ended up locking in a waist lock on Solsicoa. But Solsicoa delivered an elbow to Madcap Moss's face. Madcap Moss delivered a right hand to Solsicoa. So Moss ended up running to the ropes. Sikoa ended up delivering a right hand to Moss. So delivered a kick to Moss, followed up by a headbutt. Sikoa delivered a chop to Moss's chest, and he sent Moss to the ropes. Moss delivered a shoulder tackle to Sikoa. Moss delivered a clothesline to Solsicoa, and Solo went to the outside. Moss ended up going out to the outside, and he slammed Sikoa face first into the commentary table. Sami Zayn then distracted Moss, and that led to Sikoa delivering a clothesline to Moss on the outside. Solsicoa ended up throwing Moss into the barricade and back into the ring, to which Sikoa delivered a spinning heel kick to Moss and then a right hand. So Sikoa ended up going for the cover, and Moss ended up kicking out. So Sikoa delivered a right hand to Moss, which he followed up and delivered a belly-to-belly. Sikoa then ended up stomping away on Moss in the corner. Sikoa ended up running towards Moss. Moss delivered a chop block onto Sikoa's knee. Moss delivered some right hands to Sikoa, followed up by a clothesline. And then Moss delivered a spear to Sikoa in the corner. He slammed Sikoa down onto the mat. He ended up going for the cover, and Sikoa ended up kicking out. Sikoa then ended up going for a Samoan drop, and Moss ended up landing on his feet, to which Moss ended up running towards Sikoa, but Sikoa delivered that Samoan drop. So Sikoa ended up going for the cover, and Moss ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, Sikoa delivered a super kick onto Moss, and then Sikoa delivered the spinning solo to Moss. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Solsicoa ended up winning the match, retaining the NXT North American Championship. But this was a very good match between Sikoa and Moss. Both guys, are very good in the ring. And Solsicoa, he's going to be defending that North American Championship, on SmackDown and also in NXT. He's going to be working both brands. And it's good because all the Bloodline have titles. The Usos had the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, has the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And now Solsicoa has the NXT North American Championship. So all the Bloodline has the gold. Main event. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match to determine the number one contenders to face the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship next week on SmackDown. So it was Hit Row, Ashanti the Adonis, Top Dollar, versus the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, versus the Brawling Brutes, Rich Holland and Butch, versus Imperium, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. And this was a pretty good match here. So we had Butch and Ludwig Kaiser end up starting off the match. Butch delivered a kick to the side of Kaiser's head and sent Kaiser to the outside. Butch locked in a headlock on Kaiser on the outside. Giovanni Vinci ended up delivering a right hand on Butch, and Ridge Holland then clotheslined Giovanni Vinci. Top Dollar then threw Ashante the Adonis over the top rope and onto everyone on the outside. Top Dollar ended up running to the ropes, and Vinci delivered a tackle to Top Dollar's knee. Xavier Woods delivered a right hand on Vinci, and Woods flew over the top rope and took out everyone on the outside. Kofi then ended up running in, jumped onto Top Dollar and onto the outside, onto everybody. So, very quick, there. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Ludwig Kaiser delivered a kick to Butch's face. He ended up going for the cover. Butch ended up kicking out. Ludwig Kaiser then ended up going to the ropes, and Butch ended up delivering a chop to Kaiser. Butch then ended up twisting Kaiser's arm, started stomping away on it. Butch delivered a right hand to Kaiser, and he tagged in Ridge Holland. So Butch and Holland ended up double teaming on Kaiser. Ridge Holland ended up going for the cover. Kaiser kicked out. So the referee was distracted as Vinci raked Ridge Holland's eyes. Vinci then tagged in and delivered an arm drag onto Ridge Holland. Vinci then delivered a chop to Holland's chest. So Vinci ran towards Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland ended up throwing Vinci down. Top Dollar then tagged in. Ridge Holland ended up going for a suplex to Top Dollar, but Top Dollar delivered a suplex onto Holland. So Ashante the Adonis ended up tagging in. Ashante ended up going for the cover. Ridge Holland ended up kicking out. And so Adonis then delivered a headlock onto Holland, and then he delivered a drop kick. Kofi tagged in. Kofi delivered a clothesline onto Ashante the Adonis. Vinci ended up tagging in, and we had Vinci and also Kaiser end up double teaming on Kofi. Later on in the match, we had Kofi end up getting into the ring, and Top Dollar ended up getting Kofi on his shoulders, and Top Dollar ended up lifting Butch also onto his shoulders. Xavier Woods ended up jumping onto Top Dollar. Top Dollar ended up catching Xavier Woods, so Top Dollar had all three guys on him. Top Dollar ended up dropping all three of those guys, which that was a good spot there. So Vinci tagged in. He slammed Top Dollar onto the mat. He ended up going for the cover. Top Dollar kicked out. Xavier Woods tagged in, and Ashante the Adonis got into the ring. Xavier Woods delivered a super kick to him. Kofi tagged in. He ended up landing a suicide dive onto Top Dollar. Kofi then delivered a splash off the top rope onto Ashante the Adonis, and he ended up going for the cover. Butch ended up breaking up the pin. Vinci tagged in, and he rolled Kofi up. Kofi reversed that, and he pinned Vinci, which Vinci ended up kicking out. Kaiser then tagged in. He ended up climbing up to the second rope. Ridge Holland tagged in, and Kaiser ended up delivering the Imperium bomb onto Kofi. Ridge Holland then ended up throwing Ludwig Kaiser to the outside, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. The Brawling Brutes ended up winning the match, so they are the number one contenders to face the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship next week on SmackDown. So, and pretty much that was basically how SmackDown went off the air. Overall, very mediocre SmackDown this was for this week. Moving on to AEW Rampage, which Rampage, this was a skippable show tonight. If you didn't watch Rampage, let me tell you, you missed nothing. So we had Darby Allin versus Matt Hardy. Penelope Ford ended up taking on Will Nightingale. We had Ethan Page versus Danhausen. And in the main event, Samoa Joe defended the Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Josh Woods. So very skippable show that Rampage was this week. And Rampage is going to be 2 hours next week, so I will be there for Rampage and Dynamite, Grand Slam. So Gonna have to sit through 2 hours of Dynamite and 2 hours of Rampage. So the show won't be over by 12 o'clock on Wednesday. And Grand Slam is shaped up to be a awesome show, but 2 hours of Dynamite, 2 hours of Rampage, it's going to be a fun but very long Wednesday night for me there. But I'm going to go over this very quickly because, like I said, Rampage tonight was a skippable show. It opened up with Darby Allin versus Matt Hardy. Pretty good match here. We had Darby and Matt Hardy end up locking up. Matt Hardy had Darby in an armbar. Darby took Matt Hardy down with a headlock. And Matt Hardy came back, delivered another armbar onto Darby. Darby broke out of it, ended up taking Matt Hardy down with a side headlock. Matt ended up getting out of the hold, and he ended up going to take Darby down. Matt then ended up telling Darby that he will be deleted. So he ended up going to the outside of the floor. Darby ended up ramming Matt into the ring steps. And both Darby and Matt were back in the ring. Darby ended up climbing up to the top rope. He dived off the top. Matt Hardy moved out of the way. Darby ended up landing on his back on the ring apron. It was a nasty spot there. That had to hurt Darby Allin there. Diving off the top rope and diving back first onto the ring apron. So Matt Hardy ended up having Darby wrapped around the ring post. And as Rampage came back from the commercial, Matt Hardy ended up hitting Darby with some elbows to Darby's back. Darby ended up trying to come back, and he leapt off the rope. He did a monkey flip on Matt Hardy, ended up going for the cover, and Matt Hardy ended up kicking out. Matt then delivered a side effect on Darby. He ended up going for the cover. Darby ended up kicking out. So Matt Hardy ended up delivering a second side effect on Darby. And now we see Matt Hardy doing delete, delete, delete. So he ended up going for the twist of fate. Darby countered that. He ended up trying to go for a pin on Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy ended up kicking out too. Darby then ended up hitting the Scorpion Death Drop on Matt Hardy as both him and Matt Hardy were down. Darby ended up climbing up to the top rope. Matt Hardy ended up hitting Darby, ended up grabbing him, slammed him down with a powerbomb. Matt ended up going for the cover, and Darby ended up kicking out. Matt Hardy ended up going up to the top turnbuckle, and he attempted a moonsault on Darby. Darby moved out of the way, and he ended up hitting Matt Hardy with the Code Red. Darby ended up coming back, ended up hitting the Last Supper to Matt Hardy, ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Darby Allin ended up winning the match. Post-match, Darby walked out of the ring. Matt Hardy was still in the ring. He was not too happy about him losing to Darby. The lights end up going out in the arena. And as the lights came back on, Brody King and Julia Hart were in there. Brody King took out Matt Hardy. He ended up calling for Darby Allin and Sting to come out. So both Darby and Sting ended up coming out. Brody King ended up challenging both of them to a no DQ match versus him and Buddy Matthews at Grand Slam. So Brody King ended up telling Sting and Darby to accept the match. And he also had Matt Hardy in a chokehold. So the lights ended up going out again. As the lights came back on, Julia Hart and Brody King were gone. Sting and Darby Allin ended up checking on Matt Hardy. And pretty much that was basically that. So it's going to be a no DQ match at Grand Slam. Sting and Darby Allin versus Brody King and Buddy Matthews. So, should be a pretty good match there at Grand Slam. Overall, very good match from Darby Allin and Matt Hardy. It was enjoyable. And then we had Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone ended up interviewing Claudio Castagnoli, the Ring of Honor World Champion. And Wheeler Yuta was also out there. Claudio ended up thanking Tony Schiavone And he ended up saying that the championship represents honor. And the logo, the Blackpool Combat Club, is the new symbol of excellence. Claudio ended up saying that the Blackpool Combat Club is a team and a family who make each other better. He ended up saying that they win and they lose together. Claudio ended up saying that last week, unfortunately, Yuta lost the Ring of Honor Pure Championship to Daniel Garcia. He ended up saying that last week he had one of the hardest matches and hardest opponent that he's ever faced in Dax Harwood. Claudio ended up saying that next week it will be a great week for the Blackpool Combat Club because Moxley and Bryan are facing each other for the AEW World Championship, and that iron sharpens iron. He also went on to say that next week there will be another world champion in the Blackpool Combat Club, and we will have 2 world champions. So Chris Jericho got on the mic. He got up from commentary. He ended up saying that the JAS, the Jericho Appreciation Society, is the symbol of excellence. He then talked about how he is a 7-time champion. So the fans end up chanting to Jericho, "You tapped out." So Jericho then told the crowd that he wishes he was in Albany and for them to shut up. Jericho ended up saying that he has been champion in WWF, WWE, WCW. So I was really shocked that Jericho even mentioned WWE and WCW on AEW television. But he ended up saying that that one place he has never been champion was in Ring of Honor. So Jericho ended up telling Claudio to look at him. And Jericho ended up calling Claudio a boy. So Jericho then ended up challenging Claudio to a match at Grand Slam for the ROH World Championship. Claudio then ended up saying that he was hoping for this for a long, long, long time. He ended up saying that Jericho was on. He ended up telling Jericho that he's going to beat the hell out of him. So pretty much that was basically that, but good promo from Claudio here. And we're going to be getting Chris Jericho versus Claudio for the ROH World Championship at Grand Slam next week. So it's going to be an awesome match. Grand Slam is stacked. So it's going to be one hell of an awesome show. And I can't wait to be there live. So then we went backstage. We had Lexi Nair interviewing Jay Cargill, who was with the baddies, Layla Gray and Kiera Hogan. So Cargill ended up saying that she doesn't have any more competition, and she had to get rid of Mark Sterling, to which Jay Cargill called Mark Sterling a PR clown. So Diamante ended up coming in. Diamante ended up challenging Jay Cargill next week for the TBS Championship at Grand Slam. So Diamante ended up saying that she wouldn't be coming alone and that she will have the best bitch from the 305. So pretty much that was basically that. So TBS Championship on the line at Grand Slam, Diamante versus Jay Cargill. So all I know is Jay Cargill is going to retain the title. And then we had Penelope Ford versus Will Nightingale. Very boring. This was a snoozer of the match. Penelope Ford was accompanied by her husband, Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford started the match. She ended up attacking Nightingale early in the match. Nightingale ended up locking in Penelope Ford with a side headlock. Penelope Ford then ended up kicking Willow Nightingale in her midsection. Will Nightingale ended up coming back, ended up going for some pinfalls on Penelope Ford, and Penelope Ford ended up kicking out of them. Nightingale attempted to pounce on Penelope Ford, but Penelope Ford ended up moving out of the way. So Penelope Ford had Will Nightingale locked in the Indian Deathlock, and Will Nightingale ended up tapping out. So there you go. Penelope Ford ended up winning the match. Snoozer of a match this was. Very boring. So then we went backstage, and Lexi there was interviewing Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order. Page ended up apologizing to Alex Reynolds and John Silver about what happened at All Out. So Andrade ended up coming in. Andrade ended up saying that he will eliminate all of them in the Battle Royal at Grand Slam and get his future shot and the AEW World Championship. So that was that. But we're going to be getting that Battle Royal at Grand Slam. So, like I said, Grand Slam is shaped up to be an awesome show. Very stacked. And then we had Danhausen versus Ethan Page. Ethan Page was accompanied by Stokely Hathaway. And then Danhausen ended up coming out. This was a squash match. Ethan Page got the win. Delivered the Ego's Edge to Danhausen. That was that. Moving on. We had a video of Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks ended up saying that he admits that Powerhouse Hobbs did what he set out to do. He ended up saying that he needs to think about everyone he loves in his life. So Starks ended up saying that he will see Hobbs personally in New York next week. So pretty much that was basically what Ricky Starks had to say. Main event. Samoa Joe versus Josh Woods. Ring of Honor World Television Championship on the line. And this was an enjoyable match here. We had Woods and Samoa Joe end up shaking hands. They locked up and they were exchanging forearms. Woods ended up locking in a rear chokehold on Joe, to which Joe ended up escaping out of that. Joe ended up hitting Woods with a shoulder tackle and delivered a headbutt, which he followed up with a kick to Woods' head. Josh Woods fired back with a pump kick, and he delivered some right hands to Joe's midsection. Joe looked to lock in the sleeper hold, but Woods ended up transitioning that into a pin, to which Joe kicked out. And Joe delivered a drop to Woods, followed up by a senton. Joe then ended up hitting a power slam. He ended up going for the cover, and Woods ended up kicking out. Tony Nese then distracted the ref, which allowed Josh Woods to roll Joe up, to which Joe kicked out. So Woods ended up hitting Joe with a knee. Joe ended up coming back, ended up hitting Woods with the STO, and he followed up with the Muscle Buster, and he went for the cover, and there you go. Samoa Joe ended up winning the match, retaining the ROH World Television Championship. Post-match, Tony Nese and Josh Woods end up attacking Joe. Mark Sterling end up grabbing the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. He ended up going to hit Joe with it, and Warlow ended up heading out to the ring. Samoa Joe was grabbing Mark Sterling's leg to prevent Sterling from escaping out of the ring, which allowed for Warlow to set up for the Powerbomb Symphony. And then Tony Nese saved Mark Sterling by pulling him out of the ring. Warlow and Samoa Joe end up showing respect to one another, and they stood tall and they held their titles up, and Rampage went off the air. Overall, this was an enjoyable match between Joe and Josh Woods for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And basically, overall, Rampage, like I said, was a skippable show tonight. If you didn't watch the show, you missed nothing. But anyways, that's it for my review of SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.